Hi everyone, this is Dina Cedillo here. I had a request from a subscriber that wanted to have a video made of how I made this snow scene. I had actually given away the original. I had made this about a year ago. So I was playing with a couple of them trying to recreate it. And there's some differences on this one, which is going to be thrown away. I don't know if you can see right here. A bird got into our house and decided that it was going to poop on my picture. I guess the bird decided it was a crappy scene. So I was playing around with this one and messing with the snow with a paintbrush and trying to paint in some snow with the bleed-proof white. So that's why that looks like a mess. And I was just even messing with the edges there for some foreground, which I actually don't like. But this one was actually coming out a little bit better. Something else I did different, I used a lighter colored house in this one and a darker colored in this one. And I think my preference, I like the lighter one. But I thought that would be a nice contrast. You could see what you like better if you wanted to try this scene. And one other thing I did different. So I stamped out the trees with Stormy Sky. And to keep unity through the whole picture, to sort of tie in the snow with the trees, for this first one, I stamped it out in Stormy Sky. And the second one, I stamped it out with tumbled glass and started painting in shading with the Stormy Sky. So those are another two options. It would be much easier just to stamp it out with Stormy Sky and maybe even just leave it alone. Or to get a little more shading, stamp it with the lighter color, the tumbled glass, and shade in more. Paintbrushes, I've got some different kinds of paintbrushes I was going to try to show you today too. So let's get started. I have my light off. A lot of you had some feedback that when I use the glossy paper to keep the light off that it is better. So that's what I'm doing today. So the stamps that I have, they're all from Stampscapes. I wrote them down so I could get them right. This right here, the snow, is called Snowfield. The trees back here are the frosted aspens. This one is just the shack. It's just shack. This is the old barn fence left and right. And then I have some of the fir trees. The fir tree small. These ones are wood mounted. And then the spruce tree small. So those are the stamps I'm going to use today. And well, let's get started. So to begin with, I'm going to stamp out my cabin. I'm just using archival ink. I've been finding out that when I use the StazOn ink on the glossy, it tends to, I don't know, it just doesn't stamp out as well. It tends to stick. It seems to make the stamp stick to the paper, so I've been using the Ranger archival ink. And something else too I noticed when I did this one, I think I stamped it up a little high. So my goal today is to stamp the the cabin a little bit lower. Okay. And like I always tell you, I like to give it a minute and give my ink a minute to set in. Well, unless like on these trees, some of these trees I probably won't, because I do want it to be a little, see how there's like little spaces in there. I wanted those on purpose, and I'll show you that. Okay, so I cut out from my Eclipse tape, I cut out a little mask. And I did cut it out a little bit short. Short's not the right word. I didn't cut it out exactly, because if I do, and then I'm going to stamp the trees over the cabin, then I'll end up with a halo around it, and then I have to fix the halo, which I can do if that happens. And if it happens, I'll show you how. But now I'm going to go with the frosted aspens, and I'm using Distressed Stormy Sky. And I do want to try my best to line up the tree line, the bottom of the trees down here, with the bottom of the cabin. If it doesn't come out exact, it's okay. It's no big deal. Okay, and I kind of missed it right there, but you know what? It's no problem. You know why? That's just going to be a little snowy hill. And I did get the halo effect around there. But again, that's no problem. I'll show you how I deal with that. And again, I did the same thing. I don't know why I did it on both sides, but I did. And that's okay. It's no big deal. Usually if I make a mess or something doesn't stamp out exactly right, I can always work with it. I don't just give up right away and throw it away immediately. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp my fences. And again, I'm going to use the archival ink. I did notice as I was practicing this on some scrap paper, I was having some problems getting my fence straight. So, and I do want to leave a little bit in the front here space. I don't want my fence right, well, let me show you. I don't want my fence right down on the bottom. I want it up a little bit. See if I can get it straight. Yeah, that's pretty straight. Okay, this tack and peel is so sticky when it's new. Okay, and now I want to do the other side. It's even sticking to my fingers. And then I'm just going to use part of the fence. And then again, even if this doesn't stamp out perfectly even with that, it's fine. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. This one might stamp a little lower, it might stamp a little higher. Yeah, that one stamped a little lower, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. All right, and now I'm going to use the snowfield stamp. And got a paper towel because I am going to wipe part of it off. I think I am going to do this one in the lighter tumbled glass. If you wanted to do it in Stormy Sky and just stamp it, like I said, you could probably just leave it and then that would be quick and simple and done. But I do want to show you how I do some shading and stuff, so. So again, this is tumbled glass, distress ink. I'm going to take a paper towel and I am going to wipe this a little bit around these edges because I don't want the edges. It's going to end right around in here. And so I want that to be a little softer right there. Okay, and it is okay to stamp over the fence. That's not going to be a problem. It's not really going to show. I think I'm going to make the top of it down a little lower. And you'll see, because you couldn't see it on the picture I was working on, but you'll see how light this is compared to the aspens. And you'll see why I do shading with it, because it's not really, they don't really blend the picture together well. See how light that is? Gosh, without the light, I don't even know if you can see it. Okay, so I'm going to stamp again. I need some more heels over here. And now, since it's going to be stamped this way, I don't want this hard edge showing. So I am going to wipe off some of this ink. This is just a paper towel. I use paper towel. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to turn it a little bit. So the heels will kind of go up right here. I don't want it to go up as high as that one. So maybe about like this. Okay. Oh, my lighting's a problem because of the glare. Let me see if I can show you. Turn the light on a little bit. No, it's still very glary, isn't it? I don't know, can you see it? I hope you can see it, where it's stamped out like that. Now, if you did stamp it out in the stormy sky, like I said, you could just leave it like that. And I think that would be really pretty. Okay, but I want to go ahead and I'll show you how I shade all that in a little bit. Okay, so now I am going to need, I've just torn a paper towel in half. Oh, and I'm going to use my tree stamps now. Okay, so let's just start with this one. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and start right here. I want some trees behind the cabin. So it's just okay. See, I still have that halo effect again because I didn't cut the mask down good enough, but that's okay. I'll show you. I will show you what I do to fix that. Okay, and then I'm just going to stamp some random trees. And this is just going to be a snow line, so you know it doesn't have to be exact. Okay, now I'm going to stamp it again. That's my first generation stamping. And now I'm just going to stamp some, maybe at a different height, maybe a little higher. Okay, and see how part of it's stamped out darker than the other? That's actually what I want. I'm not worried about having it perfectly uniform. I'll do a few more of these trees. Okay, I think I am going to go ahead and use that mistake. And I'm going to let that be a little hill. That'll be a nice little snowy hill. I'm going to do a few more. And like on this right here, you can see on these two pictures here, I put one of the darkest trees right here by the cabin on both sides. You could even put it on this side if you want. I think on the original I actually did put it on this side. And because I've got my mask there, it won't get the little tree. It's going to just get the big part, the big tree. I hope. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now let's do some second generation stamp. So now I want to get some distant trees. See how I'm not, oops, I totally missed that mark, didn't I? Let's try that again. And you could even stamp some lighter trees if you want. And see how I'm not leaving it as long either, and I'm not trying to worry about whether or not the whole stamp is on there. I want those lighter sections. See all these areas here, like there and right there? Those are perfect little areas to put the white pigment ink and make kind of a misty look. I'm going to go back to this one. I'm going to put some closer trees here. And by closer, I just mean they're darker. See? Okay. And you know what, the way that is there, I think that's fine too. I'm just going to use that as another, like another snowy hill. And let's see, it needs a tree right there, doesn't it? I'm going to make it a closer tree. And I'll second generation stamp that one. And then I think I want a tree right here, a more distant tree. And we need some closer trees here on this side. You know what? Yeah, I'll stick with this one. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So that's how I did my tree line. Okay. Now, just to shade in, go ahead and shade in the corners. I'm going to start out with the tumbled glass. And these are those little brushes. This one doesn't even have a name on it. I don't know. I don't even know where I got it. And I am trying to learn to use these. So I am starting out with the lightest color. Just working my way in a little bit. That smeared a little bit of black, but that's all right. It must not be completely dry. I'm trying to learn. I'm so accustomed to the stylus tool. I'm trying really hard to learn how to use these other tools. Okay. And I'll probably go back in a little bit and use the Stormy Sky to fill it, to shade it in a little darker. Okay, but I do have, it's at 22-minute mark, so my phone will probably start overheating pretty soon and cut off. So I think I'm going to stop right here at this point. Let me remove the mask. Okay, now remember, I do have a little bit of the halo effect, but I promise in the second part to this video I will come back and show you how I deal with those halos. And I'll come in and shade this snow and show you how to make a little bit of snow variation in the rest of that, okay? So I hope you enjoyed the video so far, and you'll return for part 2. And as always, thanks for watching.